enter into his rest. It's not laboring, it's resting. But we have to put forth an effort to learn to rest. Because we, as human beings, always want to maneuver things. We want to fix things. We want to do it ourselves. To the point that we even have these best-selling hit songs. I did it my way.
Yeah.
Amen?
Yeah.
People sing songs about doing it their way. People speak about people. We admire people who they become self-made millionaires. You know, we look down at people that were born rich, but someone that pulled himself up by his bootstraps and became wealthy. We look at them with admiration and admire them and say, oh, these were great achievers in life. That's our nature. God has given us a nature of creation because He's a creator and we're made in His image. We want to create, and there's nothing wrong with creation, but the problem with our creative spirits is we think we can create our way into heaven.
No.
We can earn our way into heaven. And that's why God, if you ever notice, most people that come to Christ, they've had to have some type of failure. They failed at something. They failed at a job. They failed at their marriage. They failed at raising their children. They failed at something. People that are so successful rarely admit that they need Christ. Hello?
I hear you.
That's one thing I can say about our president. This man has achieved so much in his life. I mean, he's a billionaire. He started out with $1 million, but he turned it into billions. I'd be okay if I started out with $1 million, but he turned it into billions. And so I look at him in the business world, he's very successful. And you may not like him, you may think he's crude, and that's okay. I mean, that's just his personality. But one thing I can say, he recognizes Christ.
Praise God.
Amen? I mean, when our former presidents took prayer out of the White House and refused to have a day of prayer, this man is having a day of prayer. This man's talking about Jesus Christ. And I admire that because here is a man that was successful and really in his mind or in the world's sense of, a sense of, view, they look at, well, this man don't need anything. He's got everything he wants. And we're not just talking about the president. We're talking about anyone who's successful. You look at people that are successful and think, you don't need anything. You got everything.
No, they don't.
Why is it these people who have everything commit suicide?
That's right.
How about this young lady who had this great empire that she created this great empire and made all this money and become so successful. She ended up killing herself. A few days later, this young man, well, not a young man, he's about a little younger than me, but he had this television program, one after another, very successful, traveled the world, committed suicide.
Why?
Because they didn't have God.
Why? That's a good question.
They didn't
Why?
have God.
Amen.
Because they think that success will make them happy, and success brings them nothing but more complexity, more difficulties, more pain, more frustrations. I'm going to tell you something, Michael. The most difficult thing that you and I or any of us here today will have to deal with is frustrations. And what frustrates you may not frustrate me. What frustrates Dennis may not frustrate me. But nevertheless, it's real to us. Amen? I've been getting frustrated and kind of losing my temper the last few days because I was driving my daughter's car, so I left her the keys because I didn't want her to not have the key to get in and out of the house. So I left my keys at the house, and then I'd come home from work, and she's upstairs, and I'm hollering and screaming, and she can't hear me. And I'm getting frustrated. And I told her last night, I said, I'm tired of every time I come home, you got me locked out of my house. And it really wasn't her fault, but I was just frustrated. Amen? And unfortunately, when we get frustrated, we get outside of our character. Amen? And that's why we need God to help us.
Right.
Amen? See, when I talk about a straight and narrow path, I'm talking about living godly.
Amen.
And you and I, Nancy, will not. We have no ability to live godly because we're us. We look in the mirror and we see the reality of ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
We look in the Word and we see where we come short. We mess up and then we realize, hey man, I'm not who I thought I was. I told you how many years ago I first got saved. I went to the restroom. I was coming downstairs and I said, God, man, I've done pretty good this week. I ain't hardly messed up at all. And the Lord spoke to me and said, if any man think he stand, let him take heed lest he falls. He's telling me, don't stand on your own strength. Don't depend on your own ability because you can't do it. You can't live godly.
No.
You can't walk a straight, narrow path.
No.
You just got to get on the path and then let Him help you walk it.
No.
And He will help you. He will help you. He'll strengthen you. He'll encourage you. He'll bless you. And when you get frustrated, He'll help you to calm down. Amen. He might have to send someone along to calm you down. Amen.
Amen.
But He says, when once the master of the house has risen up and has shut the door, and you begin to stand without and to knock at the door, saying, Lord, Lord, open us. And He shall answer and say unto you, I know you not. I know not. I know you not whence you are. Let me explain something to you. Every religion outside of Christianity is works-based. Something you have to do. Christianity is something He had to do. If you're a Muslim, your good deeds must outweigh your bad deeds. And if your bad deeds outweigh your good deeds, then you have to do something dramatic to outweigh your bad deeds. So they're taught, well, in order to outweigh your bad deeds, you have to become a martyr. And if you kill people along with you yourself as you die, then you'll receive a great reward. So many virgins and, just... And so they tell a female, because a female, well, she don't need a bunch of virgins. So she said, well, you can take with you your most wicked family member. So Uncle Ahab or whatever, he'd been so wicked, he ain't never going to make it to paradise. So I'm going to kill myself so he can make it there. You see how foolish that is? And then you got the other religion where they don't believe in heaven, they just believe in reincarnation. You get to just keep coming back each time, and each time you'll get better if you live a good life. But if you live a bad life, you're going to come back as something. You might come back as a slug. Or you might come back as a fly. Are you listening to me? That's foolishness. It takes more faith to believe in it takes more faith to believe in evolution than it does to believe in God. Suddenly all the elements came together, a Big Bang, and all this came to pass. I believe in the Big Bang Theory. I do. So bang, God said bang, and there it is. Amen. God spoke the word, and the worlds were created. That's the bang.
Yes.
Not the Big Bang Theory from the scientific or from the theory evolution, And keep in mind, it's the theory of evolution. It's not facts. But yet people speak about it as it's a fact.
Yep, they do.
But my point I'm trying to make is that